Zaire Hope's got 30-inch biceps. He's like makes Tyler O'Neill look like Eric Sogard. Dude's just shredded. He's gonna be hitting nukes out of Dodger Stadium, and I love it. I'm here for it. I can't wait till these guys are getting MLB at bats and making an impact for this team, and I can't wait to hear what the next excuse is gonna be. All right, well, Ethan, it doesn't look like it makes a difference whatsoever. Doesn't look like it makes any difference. If you want to make the Dodgers, you want to put a salary cap in? Fine. There's a couple guys named Josue DePaula and Zaire Hope. There's some other guys named James Tibbs and Nick Senzell and River Ryan. Justin Roblescu, who you might remember. Go ahead. Handcuff us. Do your worst. I like what I've seen. What about you? I mean, I don't want to overreact to spring training, but
I mean, hey, James Tibbs had a 458-foot home run today, so no complaints there. We traded him for Dustin May, a guy that wasn't gonna be in the rotation in the future, and that's what you got for it. I mean, you can't ask for a better situation right now. You got the number one farm system in baseball, and a salary cap is not going to do anything. We went over that in the last episode. You bring in a salary cap, we're still going to be able to have a lot of these guys on the team, and I mean, if it's going to affect things for the future and signing guys, just take a look at that farm system. Take a look at those outfield prospects they got. You didn't even mention Mike Sirota and the future he's got.
That's our favorite. That guy's probably that's our next Bellinger, our right-handed Bellinger.
Big Mike Sirota fans on this pod. But
get him on.
Absolutely. Spring training's been good. We've had a busy week and a half. Ian's washed and a 25-year-old now. Happy belated birthday. But yeah, did you do any fun birthday festivities or?
Dude, I got packed in like sardines at Waterfront in Venice, which by the way, welcome basically officially back to Southern California. For those of you who don't know, Ethan will be joining forces, but yeah, when you're back out here, we'll have to check it out. We did the adult things. We got our alcoholic beverages, our libations out of the way during the day, which is always smart. Having a couple drinks at a Dodgers day game feels a lot better than, coming home and going right to bed. You sleep it off, you feel good the next day, you can still hit the gym. So, wow, yeah, dude, I am getting old. This is pathetic. But yeah, dude, it was a good time. Stood in the corner of the bar and watched Dodgers spring training for a little bit too on my phone, and here we are, dude, just being an absolute chud. But no, we're glad to be on to March, man. It doesn't really feel like real baseball once February passes. It starts to feel real. And look, we got a couple Dodgers. We got some of our biggest stars playing in the world's biggest baseball tournament right now. The World Baseball Classic is starting up, and I don't know if you did you see the video of Pat McAfee pitching to Clayton Kershaw? By the way,
I actually saw it right before we got on this. It's pretty funny. Well, I don't think Pat played baseball as a kid.
No.
But Kershaw looked like he was having a little bit of fun. He's done with baseball. I saw the bullpen session of him too. I don't think he's going to actually pitch in the World Baseball Classic. I think it's just kind of they're having him take some reps just in case something.
He had his third of an inning. He got his out against, was that Ernie Clement or no Nathan Lukes, whatever his name is.
I think it was, yeah.
He had his moment. No, it reminds me a lot of when I got selected in my first Murphy Ranch Little League All-Star team. There for a good time. I was a glue guy, if you will. I got my minimum at-bats. I got my minimum at-bat or two per game, but yeah, it's kind of where we put the end of that. Again, point being, we got real baseball coming back up. This is an exciting time. Some notable things we should just get out of the way right now. Honestly, until like April hits, I don't think we need to be talking about Shohei and Yamamoto much. We already know. We know we're getting out of them. They're tinkering around. They're having fun. I'm not even interested in talking. Will Smith too.
Yamamoto started warming up November 2nd.
It don't matter. It don't matter. We got Yoshi. We've got the boys absolutely ready to fight for Team Japan and come for a repeat. But the most notable to me, worth talking about, is Heesong Kim. He'll be playing for Team South Korea, I believe, and he won't be with the Dodgers at camp anymore. And I'm kind of bummed. I've really enjoyed watching him take at bats. I think in his limited time in spring ball, he's looked pretty damn good. What are you seeing?
He's been putting some really good swings on the ball, and I mean, you can look at his approach right now compared to last season. He looks something with his leg kick. It's a lot more relaxed. He's looking like he can start hitting for a little bit more power. And I mean, dude, the dude's jacked, goes and does 1,000 push-ups apparently. The guy should be able to have some power and good contact bat on top of that. I don't know though long term if he will be permanent second baseman. And if he can put it together though and be consistent, then I would love to see a world where he is the permanent starter. The reason I say maybe he won't win the job long term is because of the guy he's competing with. Alex Freeland could be. If Alex Freeland turns out how we expect him to, he should probably win the job. I think. I mean, you have a power hitting, switch hitting second baseman. That's the only other guy I could think of like that is Ketel Marte. And if you can blossom into a player like that, you have it on a team like imagine the Dodgers with a guy like Ketel Marte. That would be unbelievable. But Kim's looking great, and I think honestly, long term, this is going to be a Chris Taylor type of thing where they can just go put him wherever. Someone's going to need a day off every day, and you can fill Kim in 5 days of the week. Might not be second base every day, but I like it. I like it long term for sure.
Yeah, it seems like the Dodgers, especially if we do end up in a league post CBA where, if there's going to be some hamstrings or some, limitations on how much a team wants to spend or can spend, he feels like that first guy off the bench or that first guy available to fill in when you're not great at second base or you're not great in left field or you're not great at third base. Kind of like a Tommy Edman, hopefully more reliable and doesn't get hurt all the time. I agree with you. Freeland totally feels like the everyday second baseman. Guys like that are insanely valuable. I mean, immensely valuable. The Dodgers, I'd say in their best years, have had excellent benches. Guys you can trust off the bench to come into key spots and play. Kike Hernandez probably won't be a part of the team hardly at all this season, it looks like. He's on the 60 AIL.
Wait till October, but yeah, until then,
exactly.
Probably not. No, he's a permanent starter in October. But hey, on that note, though, with how stacked the team is right now, he might not get everyday reps. Well, we'll see. That's way far in the future, but
yeah, dude, you can only go to the well so much in October. This is no hate on Kike. He's certainly got his spot reserved on the Savannah Bananas team, alongside Jackie Bradley Jr. When he wants to go do that, he will go do that. But dude, right now, you mentioned a good point. Where is he gonna fit in? I mean, I don't know. I got a couple names I like coming out of spring training, but this roster, this bench could be really deep. I mean, who do you like the most that you've gotten to look at in spring training? Maybe to fill that utility role.
I mean, we just talked about it with Kim, really, but Roberts is feeling good about Alex Freeland. He came out and stated it. He likes where he's at right now, and he sees a lot of potential in the guy. I'm feeling good on him. And there's another thing. It wasn't... Sorry, the door just got slammed pretty loudly. I don't think... This isn't a guy that's made a lot of big headlines playing in spring training right now, but a headline about him came out today. Bobby Miller is going to be a reliever. He's dealing with some shoulder trouble, and I think his days as a starter have been done. His days as a starter have been cooked being on the Dodgers. If he wants to go be a starter on another team, he's got that opportunity. But if the Dodgers... I think he's better off... I think he's better off as a reliever, though. I think that's... The guy can max out at one inning, and that's him. Like, he loses his confidence very quickly. Give him one inning, that guy can throw you 100 miles an hour as a reliever. I think we're waiting for this to happen, and it will happen this season, I have a feeling. But Bobby Miller is going to come and do what Roki Sasaki did last season late in the year. He has that skill set to be a 1 to 2 inning guy. He was a former starter, and he's got the skill set that's going to be a high leverage bullpen arm that throws with high velocity. And they're giving him the chance to start as a reliever. I like it a lot. There's a lot of bullpen woes that team went through last season. There's been a lot of bullpen injuries. I mean, the team never stays healthy. At the end of the day, I'm not going to prey on an injury. I don't want to manifest an injury, but I'm just going to talk in the sense of, like, the reality of what happens to this team every single season. There is a lot of pitching injuries, and Blake Snell is already going to miss some time to start the season. So
he's not the only one. I mean, we've already got multiple
Gavin
injuries.
Gavin Stone. I mean, hey, River Ryan's going to be incredible this season, I think, as a back-end rotation guy. But Bobby Miller is what's caught my eye today with a lot of recent stuff, and I think I think you could see a scenario this season if Bobby Miller pitches at the high level that we've seen him pitch at his rookie season as a reliever. That's a guy that could come in and be one of your top guys out of the bullpen this season. Give you a little new version of Bruce Dark-Gratterall.
I mean, I haven't seen there's the guys I feel really good about. I trust Edwin Diaz because of regression to the mean. I don't possibly see how Tanner Scott doesn't have a really good season just because last year was such a nightmare. But there's a lot of question marks still in the bullpen. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying there's not a lot of potential. But who better? And if he's healthy, I mean, I know he's dealing with shoulder injuries too, but Bobby Miller, who better to come and stabilize that bullpen, possibly be a super reliever? These guys that convert from starter to reliever, man, immensely valuable. Think about the last name Miller. Andrew Miller in 2016, who you actually have a friend believes he had, he's probably the most dominant pitcher at any period of time in baseball. I don't know about that one necessarily.
He said
in 2016.
He has some of the best ball knowledge I know of, but also has said that Jonathan Lucroy is the best catcher of the 2010s.
He's got Randy takes.
Yeah, shout out Randy. But I would say probably 75 to 80% of the things he says about baseball are true, or very, very reasonable backed up takes. He also grew up around baseball. He knows what he's talking about. But he did say that Andrew Miller was 2016. Andrew Miller is the greatest pitcher of all time. Which, if he's talking about the pure dominance of what Andrew Miller looked like in that postseason, it's not entirely crazy to say.
Not crazy to say at all. And I love the connection with the last names. Look, dude, I'm sorry. I'm never going to unsee the Bobby Miller St. Louis start at the beginning of 2024. When he pitched on that Friday night.
Dude, I thought he was the next Walker Buehler.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, he could still end up having a better career than Walker Buehler, sadly.
I mean, you're not wrong. Hey, shout out the Louisville guys, though.
He's not as bad. I'm not ready to give up on him. And I've never understood. I think Dodger fans are foolish that want to say, go get rid of Bobby Miller, trade him, sell on him right now. Dude, his value is just in the tank.
Dude, he was a first round pick for a reason. The guy will have it. He has it in him.
Yeah. His value will, like you mentioned, a first round pick. His value will come back to something. Maybe he'll never be a starter again. But you know how many teams need relief pitchers? You know how many teams want a young, controllable relief pitcher or just a young, controllable pitcher they can... I mean, for God's sakes, dude, the Padres are ready to make Mason Miller a starter. The Mets have converted Clay Holmes closer to starter. Even if you make Bobby Miller a relief pitcher, that doesn't mean his career is over as a starter. Maybe they just need to use him and utilize him and get him in the MLB, because I think that means something to an MLB player, to get the MLB reps. You're not in the minor leagues. You're on an MLB field. I don't know how you feel. I'd rather have my guy... Maybe this sounds a little Randy-esque too, getting on the field in an MLB action, using one or two of his best pitches and pitching in short leverage situations than you're pitching, 5 or 6 innings in frickin' Rancho Cucamonga, where you've got 2,000 fans maybe in the stands. It's not the same. It's not the same.
I mean, if you watch the guy pitch, it's a confidence thing. He's got it for 2 innings, and then it's out the door immediately. He walks one batter and he loses it. And maybe he's just not built to be a major league starter. And there's been other situations with this. You know, Mariano Rivera started. He was originally a starter.
Hmm?
Like, what did Mariano Rivera become?
The first unanimous Hall of Famer of all time?
Yeah, the greatest closer of all time.
Yeah.
The guy was going to be a starter, and they moved him to the closer role, and he was so good at throwing one pitch that he was able to make it work his whole career. And that cutter is one of the nastiest pitches we've seen ever. Bobby Miller has got the skill set of a high leverage reliever, and
Absolutely.
it's you put that guy in a 7th inning, and then you throw in Tanner Scott if he's going to be the Tanner Scott we know. And Edwin Diaz in the 9th inning. I think the thing with Tanner Scott, by the way, little sidetrack here, but I just think he was never meant to be the closer for the Dodgers. I think they get him in an 8th or 7th inning role. Things are going to be good.
Things are going to be great. Also, by the way, quick side note, Alex Vesia, he looks awesome. And it's good to see him back out there. I know I would never wish what happened on him. That is just the worst. Terrible. You would pray that never happens to anybody. Hearts out to him. For him being able to just get back on the field is incredible at all. this season, and he's playing inspired. He looks fantastic. I expect probably a huge year out of Vestia too from the left side. Love seeing what we got out of our left-handed pitchers. You mentioned Bobby Miller, a first-round pick. There's another first-round pick that, dude, I'm all over right now, and I, unfortunately, it's very, Artie Moreno, Anaheim Angels, of me to get overly excited about former top prospects that are busts, or former, expected stars that become busts. You want to talk about former first rounders?
Nick Senzell.
Nick Senzell, dude. I don't. Is he hitting like 500? I mean, he is. I don't care what the totem pole is. If he's got to cross past Ryan Ward or Michael Seattle, like I don't care. I'm not. He was a number one pick for, again, top first round pick for a reason. I know he's failed at different organizations. Who have the Reds developed in recent years that's a good hitter? Ellie De La Cruz isn't a good hitter. They haven't developed anybody to be a good hitter on that team. They've developed nothing but pitchers. So how am I going to fault him for that? He goes to other organizations that are probably suboptimal to the Dodgers. And what's his position by trade, Ethan? Nick Senzell, if you know off the top of your head.
Isn't he a third baseman and outfielder? He can play either or.
Yeah, third baseman. I don't know if you remember, about a decade ago, the Dodgers brought in, I don't even think he was a first rounder, but they brought in a third baseman who was just, nobody knew his name. He was middling. He had he was like in his mid-20s. His career looked over, or just completely, like he was going to be a guy that you mentioned in a trivia night on a Wednesday in El Segundo at Brewport. And then he went on to actually become the anchor of the Dodgers lineup for, before, the last 2 years, their best run maybe ever in franchise history. There's arguments you could retire his number. I don't want to make the Justin Turner comparison right now, but a utility infielder who can play third base. The Dodgers have done this before. Let's not forget the Dodgers have done this with countless other guys. They have made, there could be a hole opening up at third base soon too. There could be opportunity for right-handed bats. Just saying.
I don't think it's crazy to say that this is the next Dodgers lab result.
Absolutely.
This is a guy who was the number 2 ranked prospect, I believe, in baseball about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Around the 2017-18, this guy was one of the best prospects in baseball. Like you said, the Reds haven't developed any good hitters, and any notable superstar hitters or all-star hitters, and now you have him in an organization that's known for, one, reviving players' careers with Justin Turner, Muncy, Chris Taylor, to name a few. Getting guys, developing and getting all-star players even better than they already are. And you take a guy like Nick Senzell, who had the potential to be an MLB all-star, and you put him with the right coaches in the right situation, he very well could go and succeed in this lineup. And is he going to go be an opening day starter? No, they got Max Muncy. But again, like I said earlier in the episode, I'm not going to pray for an injury to happen, but it's part of the game, and it's part of what we've seen with the Dodgers over the past few years. Muncy missed some time last season. He's also getting up there in age. You have some outfielders that, who knows what, you just never know what could happen, and Nick Senzell might get an opportunity and come in and thrive. And as a fan who likes to root for the underdog, and not that I have a team to root for that's an underdog team right now. Rams were a win away from the Super Bowl, and the Dodgers just went back to back, the Lakers of Luka. But if you give a shit about basketball, anyways,
they're like the Dallas Cowboys. They're like that. They're not underdog, but they're like just out. They're like in the doghouse, I think, is a better word for that.
The Dodgers have every good player you could possibly want right now, and not that I'm of course I'm gonna root for them, but a guy like Nick Senzell coming into the lineup potentially, I'm gonna have a little bit more of I want that guy to succeed. I want that guy to get his chance, and we be the guys who develop him. We're the guys who get him a chance, and people are gonna keep, if people want to keep saying, "Oh, you guys spent your money to get your lineup," look at what they did with Nick Senzell if this happens.
It's more fun.
Absolutely.
I was a Dodgers fan.
It's why
it's a little bit more fun.
It's why the 2017 team, 2017 through 2020, was so special, because Yeah, the 2020 team that won it all, if you want to call it the Mickey Mouse COVID ring easiest season ever to win in, go for it. If it's the easiest season to win, why didn't your team do it? Also, topic for another time, but I think it was also, if you're going to justify that it was easy, because the players were at their peak and didn't have as long of a season, they had like they were not as tired. Shouldn't your guys have also been at their peak? Topic for another time here, but the 2020,
everybody had equal opportunity to win that year.
did a team win? And then they won two more a few seasons after. Anyways, that 2020 team, Corey Seager, developed by the Dodgers, won a Rookie of the Year with them. Had one of the greatest postseasons we've ever seen from a major leaguer with 8 home runs. Will Smith, Muncy, Kike, Chris Taylor, Bellinger coming off an MVP season, Justin Turner, Kershaw, Buehler, Rios at the time, all on this team. Hey, Dustin May's a world champion too on that team. Don't forget. And Tony Gonsolin.
Dude, he's a 3-time world champion, I think, technically.
Yes, he.
I don't
he is.
Yeah, I guess he does get a ring for.
He was on the team, wasn't he? Or just in the organization?
He was in the organization. Okay, so he's a 3-time world champion, Dustin May.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what made the 2020 team so special. We had all our own guys on that team that we were drafted. I mean, besides Mookie Betts, that entire team, for the most part, was all guys the Dodgers. Those were Dodgers.
Yeah.
And it's nothing. It's not this. I love the 2024 team. Love the 2025 team even more because I got to get to watch these guys and get a little bit more of an affiliation with them. But nothing for me will ever be a guy they draft and develop or a guy they take and turn their career around on their own without signing a big name on the market. And that's just how it's always going to be for me. And again, I love Freddie Freeman, love Teoscar, love Ohtani. Absolutely, Yamamoto's my favorite player. I love all these guys that we've been able to get over the past few years. Snell, Glasnow. It's so many of them. Kyle Tucker's going to be great, but it's always going to... A Nick Senzell story would be really fun to see. Bobby Miller coming into the bullpen would be really fun to see, and seeing these guys turn their careers around.
You know, I think that's the whole thing. The Dodgers' identity, I think when we look back at it, this is a moment in time. This is a moment in time of the Economic Reform Committee was created long before the Dodgers started spending. We've talked about that extensively. So Mark Walter and ownership and Stan Kasten and Andrew Friedman all know changes are coming in some way, shape, or form. We're probably not going to want to foot the bill at that point. Shohei Ohtani's bringing a lot of revenue. Shohei Ohtani gets people waiting down the street at like 8 a.m. over by past the shortstop to get this. This thing resells for hundreds of dollars online. They're just making money out the ass on the Japanese superstars. Yamamoto too deserves a lot of credit. But I get it now. It's the real play has never been let's spend a bunch of money to win championships. It's let's get stars that can win right now. Let's try to get as many of them, because if you look at most of these contracts, they're short-term deals. Of course, Mookie Betts, that was during COVID. Nothing counts during that time. Yamamoto and Ohtani, you had to bring on the long-term deals. The ROI is too good. But everybody else, even Freddie Freeman, 5-6 year deal, nothing crazy. They're getting guys to play right now so that their minor leaguers, their farm system is ready to go. Because they promoted, dude, they were, for a couple years, they were just bringing guys up to the MLB that weren't ready. They were trying to recreate the Bellinger, Seager, Walker Buehler, Will Smith days, and it just wasn't working. Miguel Vargas rushed. And now he's just abject failure with the Whites. I think he kind of rebounded. James Outman's a 5th outfielder option in center field for the Twins. These guys weren't that caliber of prospect. They didn't develop. They probably weren't just there yet. But if you're watching right now, DePaula, Hope, the top prospects are performing like top prospects. It's not just that they're getting hits. The at-bats look like professional at-bats. I don't love DePaula's, outfield defense either, but that dude is Yordan Alvarez. He is the MLB's next Yordan Alvarez in whatever way the Dodgers plan to configure him in the field. I don't know if that means Ohtani's an outfielder one day. I don't know if that means he's a first baseman one day. I don't know what any of it means. I don't know if they find a way to have two designated fielders and two designated hitters and change the rules around. I don't know. The plan has always been homegrown guys. It's fun for the fans. In my opinion, it's the best, smartest way to save money because a lot of these players that they're 18-year-old kids at a lot of times, sometimes teenagers that either came out of high school or they came from these academies overseas, come to the MLB, you're going to have a lot of faith and trust in the team that developed you and took a chance on you when you were young. And the odds of them, doing what Bobby Witt did, re-signing, or Ronald Acuna, re-signing, the move was always, this is a stopgap. These signings are a stopgap. I know I'm going on. But watching this spring training, man, it is just abundantly clear. It is abundantly clear that they're back. The farm system movement's back. The push, the Michael Busch trade. At the time, oh man, I wish we would have let him develop as a Dodger. Really? You've got Blake Snell 2.0 out of it and Jackson Ferris. And then Zaire Hope's got, 30-inch biceps. He's makes Tyler O'Neill look like Eric Sogard. Dude's just shredded. He's gonna be hitting nukes out of Dodger Stadium, and I love it. I'm here for it. I can't wait till these guys are getting MLB at bats and making an impact for this team, and I can't wait to hear what the next excuse is gonna be.
Shit, I don't know. They can't. I can't actually. Somebody sent me one. Hold up.
I can already hear it.
Read
I can tell you what
Let's
it's.
read this.
I can tell you real fast before you say this one too. The next great excuse is going to be, they bought their players and it gave them an unfair amount of time to develop their prospects. But I'm curious to hear
Yeah, it's very, very close to that.
I knew it. Oh my god.
They had all the players they needed before the salary cap was implemented.
That's just such a Jed take. I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, shout out Dodgers Active on Instagram. Drop them a follow. So
I will drop it.
Stupid.
I like that.
People are probably going to say something like that. And hey, we did the proof. You can't. It's not going to change a thing. You got all these prospects, and then with these players, even if the cap was there, they still have all the talent they need. So, what? I hope they win a World Series after the salary cap's implemented, so we can see what the excuse is going to be. Because you know what's going to be funny? Watch them win a World Series in 2 seasons when DePaula is probably on the team or Zaire Hope, and they go have some hit of their life in the World Series, and then people are like, "Oh, what are you gonna say?"
What are they gonna say now? Seriously, you can't track the farm system anymore. Can't blame the salary cap. At this point, dude, I'm almost rooting for the salary cap. I hope it happens. Honestly, at this point, I just want to see because I know the Dodgers will win a World Series. I know it.
Yeah, I'm kind of, at this point, it's if people are going to say what they're going to say, and they can do that, they sound like idiots. So they can go sound like idiots if they want to, and, we're going to go. We know at the end of the day what the Dodgers are doing, what they're building, and we can enjoy it. We're not going to let anybody take it. We're not going to let the internet comments dictate what we think about where the Dodgers stand right now and how we're going to watch it, because we're in the prime of watching Dodger baseball. Probably, I don't think you can top this.
Mm-mm.
I think we're already...
I'd love to see it try.
I think the three-peat will be... I think we've already gotten the cherry on top with going back-to-back with all the extra guys we got in the last season, and then, what a three-peat would be... I don't think it's going to get better than that. With Ohtani in this mix, and...
Here's my question to you. This is going to require some weird historical knowledge for, the major teams in America. I think the Dodgers have a chance to climb into this class that they've never been before. I think, when you historically look at teams, it's okay, in the NFL, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Dallas Cowboys, maybe the San Francisco 49ers, and tiers down is trickling the Raiders. The New England Patriots, to a degree, this is gonna sound crazy. Them even post Tom Brady, it's like it feels like okay, they were great for a long time, but they're not the Steelers or the Cowboys per se with the
Every
historical
ring came through
relevance.
Brady.
And then in
If they win one
basketball,
or
I mean,
if
okay,
they win one or two with Drake May, well, I would call them a top three successful franchise. But right now, it was don't now they're top five. If they want to be top three, I would say they have to win one without Brady and Belichick. But
yeah, it just feels like even after the organization didn't elevate to a different class. Like they're really cool. They're the Patriots. All this. They never like the last team. Maybe the Lakers elevated up to where the Celtics are. Like in the NBA, it's the Lakers and the Celtics. The Warriors never elevated to that class. They were really good for a while. Never elevated to that class. And in the MLB, it's the Yankees, right? It's the Yankees at the top. The 27 rings. And then I guess the tier down from them, it's like just the Cardinals technically, but it's historic, and they just know they don't have that aura as a team. I feel like the Dodgers could, because times passed and a lot of the Yankees rings we know came, when the league was in a very different way, in many ways that weren't necessarily the most fair. I mean, also there weren't fences in a lot of the games they played, so we're going to get to a point where a lot of their World Series phase out and are just looked at as ancient relics. Can the Dodgers climb to that tier? Like that tier one organization where things will permanently be changed. I feel like we're getting to that point, and I feel like
I
if we
mean,
repeat,
well, the sports
it sounds like the
completely
Mahomes GOAT debate, but
the sports changed a lot. I mean, half these Yankees rings came. How many of them were before World War II?
dude, like half. I mean, dude,
Let's
how,
look
how
this up.
many? I mean, dude, how many pre like international influence whatsoever? I mean, very different
Okay,
times. Obviously, no salary cap.
okay,
Obviously, no luxury cap.
they won 9 before World War II. Still in a very good
But
position post World War II, and I think their 90s, early 2000s dominance gives them a huge edge. So I still think the Dodgers are pretty far behind, but I think they are. You win a World Series, you three-peat this season, win another one in the next couple seasons, you've edged yourself as the number 2 team officially. I think their edge
oh, yeah.
officially over everything else right now is that they're winning in this era where I mean the talent's never been better, and they're going and winning games, and they're revolutionizing the standard for how you're supposed to be running a ball club, and I think that's pretty significant. I mean, what Moneyball was 25 years ago, this is not Moneyball per se, but in the revolution of okay, this might be a new standard of running things. Okay, look at what the Dodgers are doing. This is what we need to start doing.
Yeah.
So,
Just an insane amount of investment.
and
Um,
I'm not even talking about just spending money on players. I'm talking about
no.
everything they do as a whole, from scouting, player development. Not they were looking at trying to get Otani well before 2023. They knew what they were doing. They knew also if they got Otani, getting Yamamoto's going to be easier. Getting Sasaki's going to be easier. They knew what they were doing. This Rome was not built overnight. Everything the Dodgers have done, this team that's walking into 2026, that's coming off back-to-back World Series titles, they have been working on this since Dave Roberts walked into the office.
Probably since
This
Magic Johnson walked into the office,
this
even.
this goes way back. I mean, drafting and developing guys you traded to go move guys around. You got Mookie Betts out of that. There's moves they were making a long time ago that have built up to where they are right now, and that's set the standard. That's what teams are looking at now, or should be.
You're out of your mind if you're not. So I think in short, the Dodgers they're in a very rarefied air with their on-field product coupled with their minor league system. Um I've never felt this way about their farm systems before. I mean, Dude, I'm watching every spring training game. Like I said, it was my birthday, and I'm keeping up to date on my phone. I'm looking like an absolute goober at brunch, but
Hey,
I
we've been there.
it's yeah, dude. Different,
Something
much
about
different reasons.
something about brunches and birthdays, but
Yeah, it leads us down different paths, and we can always reopen those old wounds when needed. But I think we got a couple months to spare on that.
we'll be good.
But all in all, dude, special team. This I promise you this. I've never felt more confident about anything in my life. This farm system is going to be different. This run of guys might make us forget about the Seager Bellinger days. It might make us forget about 2017 one day and all that pain that Carlos Correa and Alex Cora and AJ Hinch and Alex Bregman all brought. LA on that fateful night, November 1st, 2017. I'm still not over it, but I don't know, man. What do you say we get out of here? What do you say we call it a day unless we have some final thoughts, some final out of left field takes or thoughts before we start World Baseball Classic talk?
I'll keep it conspiracy free here tonight. I guess non-baseball related. Arkansas basketball. Told you maybe mentioned a few weeks ago. Pick them in your Elite Eight. Maybe not.
Not looking too hot.
Not looking too hot. Darius Acuff though is one of the best players in the country. That still is true.
Classic John Cal. Maybe you guys ready for the NBA though?
Hey, he was in a boot. 2 days later, he dropped 49.
You can have some rooting interest post grad. That'll mean something.
He'll be good. Go Hogs.
Anything's better than having Bobby Hurley as your head coach, so it could always be worse.
Well, post grad, I'll be washed. I'll be washed up in 2 months. So
No, you won't. No, dude, don't put that out in the air. The factually inaccurate thing, I've taught you that many times. It's gonna be fine.
all right, Unc.
Dude, back in my day, we didn't even have that term available.
Back in my day, yeah. You're a fucking Unc, dude.
Yeah, I'm Charles right now. But at the end of the day, man, yeah, we're gonna be throwing on our Team USA gear in the next couple days. We're actually, we're not gonna be throwing on our Fanatics jerseys ever. We're gonna probably be thrifting pieces, if anything. But we got some exciting pool play coming up. I'm sure we'll talk about all that in the next coming days. But for right now, Dodgers are 8-3, and they're playing meaningless baseball. Can't wait for them to start playing some meaningful baseball, and we'll have a lot more to talk about with what pitchers we think are taking spots. Is Justin Robleski part of the starting pitching plans? To me, I think he fills the Blake Snell hole right now. But thank you for making it to the end of the episode. Thank you for listening. Drop a like, drop a subscribe, comment, say anything, get the engagement flowing, and we'll be back. We'll be back before next week, honestly, man. End of the week, we'll get an episode out to you. Until then, thank you for listening. Thank you for coming by. We'll be back very, very soon.